Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, Mr. and Mrs. X, issue number 6. Alright, let's get right into this. So, turning the page, we got writer Kelly Thompson, guest artist David Lopez, guest colorist Nayoung Kim, letters VC's Joe Sabino, the Dodsons, Terry and Rachel, are on covers. Note, all this takes place before Uncanny X-Men issue number 1. Okay, I guess that's kind of important, you know. Kelly Thompson would know because she's the one who's freaking writing that book also, along with Rosenberg and Brisson. So Jay Bowen and Anthony Gambino are the graphic designers. Okay, so let's see. They're having a party, like a housewarming party. I don't know what all these freaking parties are all about, man. Like, dude, I don't know, man. I never had this many parties. These guys are constantly having some kind of a party or another. But whatever, I guess. I forgot that Rogue actually had the collar on, even though I'm sitting here looking at it in all of these images. So that's kind of a weird thing. But I'm going to get into that in a little bit. A whole bunch of people are showing up for this party. Iceman shows up, and he's freaking hysterical. Him and Rogue going at it with each other. And by that, I mean it's mostly just Rogue going at it with him. Freaking hysterical, dude. From beginning to end. Bobby can stay in this series for as long as he wants because it's hysterical. Gambit's father shows up. Okay, was not expecting that one. And he literally just shows up for 2 pages so that he can warn him, hey, you're about to be attacked. Gotta go, bye. And the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild, go figure, are going to be at war again. Ah, lovely. Jeez, we don't have enough of that going on, right? So, So there's this huge fight here, and Rogue winds up taking off her collar. Now, for having forgotten that she was wearing her collar, even though she's wearing her collar, mind you, it's an inhibitor collar. It's a mutant inhibitor. Original design by Forge, believe it or not. And what happens? She takes it off, and now her powers are so completely out of control that she doesn't even have to touch anybody, and she starts absorbing people. So, yeah, I could see that. These guys get like wiped out immediately. They get wrapped up in a nice little bow and, I don't know, sent to the bottom of the Hudson for all I care. Screw these guys. But she needs some counseling. And who comes and gives her counseling but freaking Magneto? That was awesome. That was generally awesome. Look, images like this and all the talk and whatnot, like Iceman talking to Laura in this, amazing. Amazing. All these little quips that everybody's doing with each other. I love this. I love this. Like, this is the kind of stuff that just every so often you throw that in and it's great. Also, Belladonna makes an appearance. Oh, did not see that. and I'm telling you, man, when your ex comes in and leaves through the back door, you know there's problems. So here we go. Here's the images. And it's very confusing, and I love that because Rogue is actually the one upside down, not Magneto, but I guess we're seeing it from her POV. The conversation that he has with her is touching. Genuinely touching. I don't care if he's a bad guy or not. None of that bothers me. I love that these two are able to talk to each other like this. I don't care how evil, quote unquote, that Magneto gets from this point on. I almost demand that once every so often Magneto and Rogue get to have this conversation, you know, these kinds of conversations with each other. This was great. The Beast one was great also because he gives her a gift of a tennis bracelet that's a mutant inhibitor. Awesome, perfect, beautiful. And that was a really good conversation too. It was a touching moment. But man, it pales in comparison. It's not even a shadow to the Magneto and Rogue part. That was just the best part of this comic book. And it's only a page. It's a lousy page, and it felt like it took up the whole book because there was just so much in that one page. In the end, I'm not going to show you how this happens, but I love that it's always like, Kelly Thompson has this way of just, okay, here's the story, here's the story, here's the story. Oh, something happened, and all of a sudden, great, how do we get in this situation? And you got to figure out how that happened. And just the cliffhangers that she does in this book, in this Mr. and Mrs. X title, is amazing. Here's the next issue. Oh, that thumb, that looks interesting. Oh, that name, that look, Oh, crap. And remember, Mojo's in Earth right now. He's actually on Earth, hiding in the sewers someplace. Oh, here's my bagging board. So this isn't necessarily Mojoverse that we're talking about. Mojo is actually on Earth and dealing with stuff. So let's see where we go from here. Anyway, absolutely love this book. This is one of those titles where it doesn't matter. I can sit here and say, oh, here's the beginning of a new story arc. But at the end of the day, the way that it's written, it doesn't really matter which issue is which. You can jump on, my opinion, you can jump on this book at any part in any issue. That's something that many comics simply fail to achieve. James Byron had said a long time ago, every comic book that you write, every comic book that you draw is somebody's first comic book. And it's true. All the people reading comic books, that's damn true. So how many people are actually capable of making it so that every comic book that you jump on is can be the first comic book that you jump on, and you're not completely confused by everything that happens? Nah, this was really good. Obviously, if you don't know who Rogue or Gambit is, it might be a little bit harder to get into the characters to understand who the characters are, but for the most part, that first page covers everything. And then everything afterwards in the book, it allows you to just flow, and it doesn't feel repetitive or redundant like Wolverine Volume 2 used to feel like to a lot of people. I never had that problem, but a lot of people said, why do you have to keep on doing the whole best there is, but what I do isn't it's very nice and all that good stuff. People got annoyed by the constant repetitive nature of the book, but when you really look at it, it did allow people to jump on the book at any time. This book does that, but without feeling repetitive. And when I say book, I mean this title, Mr. and Mrs. X. I feel like any issue you could jump on and it feels, like it's your first issue and you could just keep going with it. I myself, having been reading this since the beginning, having been read, yeah, I used to be an English professor, for crying out loud. Having had read all of the Rogue and the Gambit stories prior to this, for the most part, the way that this is written doesn't make me feel as though, there's too much repetitiveness here, because that first page, it does it for you. It does everything for you. Easily one of the best first pages in the Marvel line right now. And I say the Marvel line specifically because, well, nobody else really does it. Anyway, great comic book. I'm loving this. This is, a good part to jump on, as should be expected. But I feel like we're going to get into a lot deeper stuff here. I don't think that this Thieves Guild, Assassin's Guild thing is anywhere near over at this point. And with Mojo jumping into this, things can only get more complicated. Fantastic issue. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.